Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice. Today's episode, this is a cool conversation. I can't wait for you to listen to this. We're talking about high-ticket sales, but talking to my guest before we started recording, we're going to flip the script on high-ticket sales a little bit, and we're going to totally revolutionize the way you think about it. So without any further ado, Craig Andrews, welcome to the show, and thank you for being here.
Brandon, thanks for having me. I was loving our conversation in the green room. Looking forward to what we're about to cover.
Yeah, so the topic says high ticket sales, but you have a new approach on this. So tell me, do you consider what you do high ticket sales? Do you call it that, or do you use even different language around it?
You know, I usually use high ticket sales, and I'll be honest, I don't think I've found the language. I keep searching for the language, but it keeps coming back to this. And, you know, if somebody was wondering if they fit in this category, one of the easiest indicators is if they say that they're in a referral only business, chances are they're in a high ticket service business. And the reason they believe they're in referral only is they just haven't figured out how to build trust with strangers on scale. They haven't built a process that systematically builds trust with strangers.
That's a great way to look at it. And I think, you know, just from the outside, even before we dive into this conversation, I assume a lot of the principles you're talking about also apply to product-based businesses. Am I wrong to say that?
No, absolutely. It applies to product-based businesses. Yeah, here's the thing. People ask me every now and then, they're like, do you do B2B or do you do B2C? And I'm like, I sell to humans.
Yeah.
I market to humans. And guess what? All humans have some basic needs. And if you get obsessed about focusing on your service or your product, you're missing the human and you're missing the transformation that they want. And, you know, you're based in Raleigh. You know, IBM used to have computers. They built all their computers in Raleigh. And in the 1980s, they got in trouble because at that point, they were the only one that made PCs. You know, it was them and Apple, and a little company in Texas, Houston, Texas, called Compact Computers, started eating their lunch. And IBM didn't have anything to respond. So they ran a campaign. I both love it and I hate it. I love using this campaign as an illustration, but I hate the campaign. And the campaign said nobody ever got fired for buying IBM. So they basically scared the crap out of their audience, out of their customer base, just to hang on to some sales. And we know it was B2B because if it was B2C, it would say nobody ever got divorced for buying IBM.
That's right.
And the point of that is, I don't care if you're B2B, if you're high ticket or low ticket, you're selling to humans. And whatever you're selling, if you want to make the maximum amount of money, if you want to maximize your margins, you need to create an emotional bond and you need to build trust with them. You know, if you want to dominate the low ticket stuff, if you want to, you know, get stuff out of China and just, you know, make it up in volume, as they say, fair enough. That's not interesting to me. It doesn't excite me. I don't care what you're doing. If you want to make the most margin, you have to figure out how to connect with humans and you have to be able to build trust. And if you think you're on referral only, it's just you haven't built that system yet, and you can.
Yeah, it's a great way to look at it. And just to be clear, I think we've been clear on this show up until this point, but yeah, we're not talking to those people. It's funny actually, because we always say with the business that we're in at HumanOp, people always ask, oh, what industry or what niche are you in? And we always reply, if you have humans in your organization, we can help. And that's, it sounds like you're saying the same thing externally facing. If you sell to humans, this will apply. So I already love this conversation. So help me understand then, where where do we dive in? How do we change the way we're thinking about high ticket sales and going from referral only, as we may think, to really attracting high quality leads?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to talk about dating. I'm going to talk about courtship because I think there's a really good analogy there. If you think about courtship in 5 stages, you have an introduction, then you have a conversation, and then you have coffee. You don't go from the conversation straight to commitment. And if coffee goes well, that's at low risk. That's de-risking things. You take out the financial risk, you take out the security risk, take out the commitment risk. You do coffee. If that goes well, then you do dinner. And if dinner goes well, then you have commitment. And what happens in the referral, people who say, hey, I'm in referral-based business, the analogy would be all their business comes from their buddy or their girlfriend who knows somebody else who makes the connection, say, hey, I think you two would be great together. And so that's a process of accelerating that, but it still jumps to coffee usually, um, in a real dating scenario. But what ends up happening, what I see in the high ticket space is somebody meets somebody and they're like, hey, Brandon, it's great to meet you. Hey, you know what? We have a program that's going to change your world. We're going to build an inbound marketing program for you. It's going to rock your world. You're going to love it. It's a $100,000 commitment. What do you think? And you're sitting there thinking, Craig, I don't know you. What the heck are you talking about? I'm not writing you a $100,000 check. And so that's where it goes wrong. And the referrals, because so much trust is conveyed in the referral, yeah, it's easy to sidestep that. But if you think about it, if you kind of step back, you start with the introduction, then you have a conversation. Well, in the marketing space, there's a term I absolutely despise. People call them lead magnets. Hey, I have a lead magnet that generates all these leads. And the reason I despise it is it makes me think about my customers or my clients in the wrong light. I almost picture like a little rat that I'm trying to trap. And it's like, so that's where you've already gone wrong. If you're not looking at them as humans that have needs that you're trying to deeply connect with, like you would somebody you're courting, you're wrong. You're off track already. So we call these things, we don't call them lead magnets, we call them conversation starters. And often these are downloadable PDFs that help people solve a problem. We just launched a new one today, titled, how to go from referral only to inbound in 5 months. And so it's a conversation starter for somebody who has that problem. It's trying to solve the problem of getting out of referral only. It's a piece of content. The goal of it is to start that conversation. Remember in our courtship, we had introduction, then we have conversation. Once we get them on the phone, we're not trying to sell them that 6-figure marketing program. We're like, hey, we don't know you. You don't know us. How about this? We have this little mini project that has 5 deliverables. It's going to solve these problems for you. And when you get these 5 deliverables, you have 3 choices. You can take the results and implement them yourself, or second choice is you can take the results and have someone else implement them for you. Third choice is if we mutually agree, we'll help you implement it. That's a coffee date.
Yeah.
You take away, it's priced stupidly cheap. It's coins in the cushion of the couch, money in the wallet, or the B2B equivalent. If anybody has to ask permission to spend the money, it's priced too high. If somebody will ever be held accountable for how the money is spent, it's priced too high. It has to deliver disproportionate value to price. If they have to do a mental calculation to figure out if it's a good deal, it's not delivering enough value. It has to be overwhelming value. And it has to solve a problem. And an audit or an assessment, those don't solve problems. Those just highlight the problems that are there. Yeah. It has to actually solve a problem. And it turns out when you solve a problem in someone's life, it causes a release of oxytocin in the body. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone that bonds baby to mother. And when you solve a problem in someone's life, it creates an emotional bond. And what we found is historically 50% of the people we present these first-time offers to say, yeah, I'll take that. And then of those that go through the first time offer, the little mini project, 80% of those go ahead and move on to the core offer because we built that bond.
Yeah, this is fascinating. I love that you're backing it up with brain science too. I always love to nerd out on that stuff. But I'm curious. My wheels are already turning. I'm sure the listener is feeling the exact same way. Can you give me an example of one that maybe you've done or you've helped a client do, just so we can sort of picture this a little bit better?
Yeah. So, okay, I'll just use one of mine, because so when somebody jumps on a sales call with me, there's two assumptions I make. First assumption is, they have a growth problem they're trying to fix, right? Because nobody gets on a sales call with a marketing guy unless they have a revenue problem. But the second assumption is that they've had bad marketing experience in their background, because everybody's had a bad marketing experience in their background, kind of like everybody's had bad dating experience. And so the offer we make, it has, and I'm trying to think, we have several, but I'm thinking of one. We do a transformation framework. So we basically help them come up with a transformation language for the transformation that they deliver for their customers, their clients. And so we map how they transform, what their clients have, what they feel, what their average day is like, and their status. And you always get paid the most when you transform someone's status. So that's one deliverable. Next deliverable would be clarity testing. So people have websites, they think their website's clear. We do a eye tracking simulation that shows where the focal spots are on the website. And then we put it out to a panel of 50 users and we run a clarity test to see how clear their message is. And so that's the second deliverable. The third deliverable is we give them a conversation starter plan. Remember, conversation starter is our language for what other people call lead magnets. And it's basically a 6-month content plan to help them engage their prospective customers. That's the third deliverable. Fourth deliverable is a belief system transformation blueprint. Okay. Nobody will buy from you if they have a broken belief system. If they believe the wrong things about your service or the wrong things about reality, they will not buy from you. And so you have to have a roadmap on what are the broken beliefs, what are the correct beliefs, and what's the mechanism that we're going to use to change them. Most people believe the mechanism is the sales presentation, which that works for the easy beliefs. The hard beliefs to change won't be changed in sales presentation. So our fourth deliverable is we work together to map out a blueprint of how to change all the broken beliefs so they can close the deals. And then the fifth deliverable is a 90-day execution plan where it says, okay, you're going to have a lot of things. You're going to be overwhelmed by the number of things that you have to do. So we're going to prioritize what you should do in the next 90 days to get the greatest impact. So we deliver those 5 deliverables for under $1,000.
I was just going to ask you, there's no way you can do that for under $1,000. Tell me how that math makes sense. That's a lot.
So the way the math makes sense is the way we look at it is the lifetime value. You have to look at the lifetime value of a client. For us, the lifetime value of a client is measured in 6 figures. All right. And so it's a matter of looking at your cost of acquisition. Everybody has a cost of acquisition. If you're referral only, that means you're going to networking events and you're doing all this. You're spending money to be in a lot of those networking clubs, but you're also spending your most scarce resource, and that is your time. Your most scarce and most valuable resource is your time. And so for me, what I used to do is I would spend I was actually closer to 20, 25 hours. When an opportunity came in, I spent 20, 25 hours pursuing that opportunity. With this method of first-time offers, I spend about 5 hours.
Wow. It's a huge
So,
difference.
yeah. And my time's valuable. My time's very valuable. So I'm just looking at it from this perspective of I'm going to basically use some of the time that I wasn't getting paid for before. I'm going to compress that greatly. And instead of doing the song and dance of, trying to convince them we're the right ones for them, we're actually going to roll our sleeves up and get to work. And when I look at the back end conversion rate, closing rate of 80%, that's time well spent. It's a great investment.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking, and I'm glad you answered that. Your conversion rate obviously makes sense to where the math is a no-brainer. I am curious though about the front end. So in the mindset of going from referral only to almost all inbound in such a short period of time, what are some of the things that you change from that perspective? Are you running ads? Are you going on podcasts? Like what are the tweaks that we have to do on the front end to attract those inbound leads?
Yep. So our preferred platform is Facebook. And the standard argument I always get is, well, hey, we're B2B. Our customers aren't on Facebook. I'm like,
good argument. That makes sense.
It's like, you think your B2B customers don't have a Facebook account? Do you think they also don't have a TV? I mean, everybody has Facebook's by far the largest platform out there. Has gazillions of people. And I have yet to find the audience. I've yet to run into the audience I can't find on. I mean, if I was marketing to Amish, okay, yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't recommend Facebook. But they're on there, and the reason I like it, it's just such a bargain. It's not some deep love. I'm a bargain hunter, and so. For the company we built this case study around, they sell offshore software development services, high ticket, 5, 6, 7-figure services, and we're pulling down leads for them, $13 per lead
with an 80% conversion.
Well, so that's the lead.
Your number.
Yeah, no. So that's the 80% on the back end of the selling the first time offer, but a lead coming into the top of the funnel, $13 leads from Facebook.
Wow, that's crazy.
And we've got CEOs of software companies coming in through Facebook. We've had senior directors from Amazon Web Services engage on these leads. And so it's just a cheap platform. It's everybody's on it. Your customers are on it. And in contrast, if we were to use like Google pay-per-click ads for that space, the clicks are $300 just for one click. For the cost of one click on Google, I'm generating 20 to 30 leads.
Yeah, that's wild.
So, but here's the critical element. One of the things that everybody gets wrong, and I get it wrong in my own marketing, is we believe we know what people want. We believe we know what their pains are, but we're coming in with a bias, and usually an overeducated bias, right? And so one of the things that we do is early in the process, we'll start with a hypothesis. We believe these are their top pains, the top challenges they're facing, and the top benefits they're looking for. And then we'll test those, and we'll actually test them on Facebook. And the thing we're measuring is click-through rate. And we structure a test where we come back and we're like, okay, our audience is saying this is the top pain they care about. And almost always it's a surprise to me. And it's not just me, other marketers will say the same thing. And that's, kind of the curse of expertise is you sit there and think, well, really your problem is this. Well, if they don't know their problem is this, you can't run content trying to sell them on a pain they don't realize they have. So you have to meet them at the pain that they're experiencing. And so that's a critical stage in the outreach is you have to test and refine. And it takes like 10 days and like $1,500 of ad spend. And you can know the top pain, the top benefit, and the top challenge. And then you just adjust your piece of content, your conversation starter or lead magnet, if you prefer. And you adjust that to speak to that. That jacks up your closing rate, or your conversion rate on the lead, they feel like they're speaking to you. Now there's something else that you have to do. In conjunction with that lead gen ad, so you start running lead gen. While you're doing that, you build a retargeting audience. Anybody that engages on your ad or visits your website, you pull them into an audience. Once that audience is big enough, start running branding ads to that audience. Mm-hmm. The branding ads have to communicate your values. Now, it can't be some dumb video of, at Allies for me, we believe in, hard work and, good day's work and, blah, blah. No. It has to tell a story. The way you move people's hearts and minds is by storytelling. And so it has to tell stories. So we often tell stories of historic figures that represent the values that either our clients have or for our own advertising, the values that we have. And so what we've noticed is when we start running that branding ad to the retargeting audience, the number of sales calls that get booked from those leads doubles.
Wow.
Turn on branding ad, sales calls double.
Greg, this is fascinating. And we don't have enough time to go deeper into it, but I'm already chomping at the bit to learn more. I'm sure our listeners are too. Where can people find out more, go deeper on this topic, and start implementing it in their business?
Yeah, absolutely. So one, I have a book titled Make Sales Magical. You can get that on Amazon, and that kind of lays out the structure of the first time offer. You can come to my website, which is allies4me.com. That's ALLIES, the number 4, ME.com. And I actually have a couple gifts for your audience. And one is a guide. So these first time offers, they seem easy until you try to build them. They're tricky. And I made a lot of mistakes. It took me about 18 months to get my first one working. And so I put together a guide to help folks avoid some of the mistakes I made. So that's the first gift. And the second gift is 23 days access to a online course I have to build first time offers. Reason we do 23 days, we study human behavior. And I know if I give you unlimited access to the course, you'll sign up and never take the course. We want people to take the course. So we put the limit on there, and guess what? People sign up. So the way they get that is they go to our website, allies4me.com, and then add /Harmonious for the Harmonious podcast. And that will take you right to that page, sign up, and you'll get those two gifts.
This is so awesome, Craig. Thank you. I will put all of that in the show notes down below. A link to the book, the allies4me.com/harmonious. It's on the screen. It's in the show notes down below, wherever you're watching and listening. I also know I'm going to buy a copy of your book for my whole marketing team, and I'm going to send them this episode. So Danielle, Corey, Tim, hey guys, thanks for watching. This stuff is fantastic. And I hope you as a listener share it with your marketing team, with your friends, whoever you know that runs a business, because this is, I promise you, this is absolute gold. Flip the script on your marketing. Craig, thank you so much for being here.
Brandon, thank you.
All right. We'll see you in the next episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you for being here. I hope this helps you build a more harmonious business and life. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Harmonious at Lunch podcast. Make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you're on, and we want to invite you to join us in the Small Business Success Facebook group, our private group where guests and listeners come together to grow your business. We want impact-driven entrepreneurs who are ready to go to the next level in this group so we can all share ideas, collaborate, and grow our businesses together. Go to whatif.com/group, and we want to invite you to join today. See you on the next episode of Harmonious at Lunch.